Get in here. All right. What is up? Coming out from Sydney, Australia. Well, thank you for stopping by. Sydney, Australia. That is a bit far from me here in Central Florida. But Florida is supposedly, I don't know how true this is, the Australia of the United States. Although I don't really see it that way, to be quite honest with you. What's up? What's with that? Just on. Oh. A smoko. Is that a smoke break? And I, do y'all call cigarettes the same thing you do, or the Europeans do? You know, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you. I do appreciate that, Pete. What's up, everybody? Well, ah, now that some people are in here, um, hey, saltwater crocs are way more dangerous than alligators. This is true. I want to say hi because I got to go to work. Sorry to miss the stream. It's all good. I'll have stream clips up tomorrow, so y'all can see that. Um, so whatever you do miss tonight, I will have up there. So I really do appreciate you guys stopping by, and saying hello. But yeah, I figured I would talk about something that I've seen a lot over the past couple days. And what I mean by that, let me fix this real quick. What I mean by that is apparently, we do have crocs in Florida too, which is true, but nowhere near. They're nowhere near as dangerous as salties. I don't even. I think there's only been one attack in recorded history about from them that I'm aware of. But this is what I'm gonna do. I've heard about apparently these bears and people in the woods are not something that you should have to worry about. Or if it's not something you should have to worry about, supposedly, I'll go over a couple of these videos to kind of get an idea so it's not just from me. But supposedly, people are saying that they would rather be alone with a bear in the woods than a person. And than a man, I should say. Sweet. Other countries they're more aggressive. Yeah, I mean in Florida at least you're right about that. Um, Orinoco crocodiles, I believe, are definitely more dangerous. But I don't know how many attacks have happened from American crocodiles. Yeah, I did see that, Pete. I made a video on it earlier, a short, I should say, and it's in the same spot that like over 300 beached themselves in like 96, I think. Yeah, only like 30 of them died out of like the 200 plus, which is good. Which is good. But and yeah, my dad lived in a trailer park near a small wooded field around a small wooded area around cornfields. I'd walk through the wooded area often, except one day my feet felt like they feet wouldn't move forward. A black bear ran through the cornfields not long after I left. Well, I've been in the woods with bears before. Um, the only thing I really got to, I don't know, we'll dive into it because, as I said, I have seen some hot takes. And of course, unfortunately, it seems to be from people who have never actually been around bears. And then a couple of people who are like animal slash science creators that I've seen that I hate to say it like this because I don't think this may not be 100% the truth of the matter, but and bear. By the way, before I say this, Trinity, you're right. Bears are amazing. I love bears. I think bears are fantastic. I am. in no way, shape, or form saying that bears are not awesome animals. What I am saying is that they are very large animals that if they want to do something for whatever reason, whether it be protecting their young, which is oftentimes how it happens, or like the grizzly man found out, it's a little late in the year and they don't have enough food, so you become the food. It does happen. And I don't think people understand how many bear attacks there are a year. And when you look at the sheer number of bear attacks that do happen here, not all of them are deadly, but versus the amount of people who don't live in areas where bears live, um, and how low of a population density that bears live in, I think it's I think it's a little bit on the dumb side, to put it bluntly. It's a little bit on the dumb side to just say that bears. Wait, I'm in Manitoba, Canada. We have all the bear species. I agree with you. Grizzly man was a fool. Yeah. Um, the chances that something will happen are low. 100%. The chances that a shark attacks you are very low around the world. People swim with tiger sharks and great white sharks. It happens. All it takes is for that animal to accidentally do something to you. And we're going to go over a couple instances as an example. But if you have a bear as a pet, it is not going to it is not going to affect the hibernation system within it. How do people deal with that situation? I don't know. I guess it depends on where you live, maybe, and how you keep that animal. To be quite honest, I'm not sure if how much it affects the hibernation. But let's listen to a couple of these videos talking about this situation so we can kind of get an idea.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
The bear. Bear.
So would you rather be stuck in the forest with a man or a bear? It seems like a ton of women are saying they'd rather be with a bear.
I agree with these women. If it were me and I was alone in the woods, I would prefer to see a bear than a man. It's not a bear that's roofing women. It's not a bear that is involved in sex trafficking. It's not a bear that women have to fear whenever they divorce that man or break up with that man. It's not a bear. It's a man. Truthfully, if men were honest and they were alone in the woods, even they would take their chances with a bear than another man.
What? Again, I understand these.
Okay. That's just an example. And, we'll talk about the other part. That's an example of the whole thing. People are choosing bear. I want to go over all of this. I don't want to watch an 18-minute video on this. But that is the basic, generic situation that's happening right now that I have seen. And it's only been in the past 2 days that I've seen it. Apparently this stuff came out 5 days ago. Bringing up, it's not bears roofing women. You're right, bears don't know how to use drugs like that. Okay, here's the problem I'm having. These people that believe this, that believe that they would have a better chance against a bear than a man. And that men, what she said, one of the women said was that men wouldn't want to be with another man out in the woods that I'm assuming it's somebody that they don't know. I agree with her on that. There is one thing that is called the Great Equalizer. It's a pew-pew. Anytime I go out in the woods, anytime I go out in public, I am carrying. I'm not going to show it on stream, obviously. But, yeah, people, for the most part, suck. They do. I drive for Lyft and Uber to make extra money and to pay my bills. I'm just a regular dude. Okay? And every single time somebody gets in my car, I don't know who's getting in my car. I'm putting myself in that situation because I'm trying to make extra money. I don't know who's getting in my car. I will 100% be weary of somebody who gets in my car. Overall, I have to have that trust there, and they have to have that trust toward me, because it happens in the opposite way too. I get women in my car. I get women in my car alone, and I have a few rules when it comes to that. I'll say hi, how's your day? Basic questions. But if that person isn't having that dialogue with me, I shut right up. I don't say anything else. I usually have a headphone in, and I'm listening to a podcast or music or whatever it is I'm listening to. Unless that person talks to me, I don't talk to them, even though they're in my car, because I don't want to be a weirdo. I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable. And they're paying me to take them from one place to the other, not to have a conversation with me. If they want to have a conversation and I don't want to, I'm screwed on that end, because if they talk to me, I'm just going to end up talking to them. I literally just watched an interview called Mauled. It was absolutely amazing what he survived. I had bear spray with me due to the frequency of bears, but I have a genuine respect for them. Yeah, and you should, and that's the thing. What I was saying about the Great Equalizer, I'm assuming, just based off of the interview on the street, that most of the women in this interview, or most of the people saying this stuff, don't go out in the woods. They've never been around a bear. It is not about whether or not there's a certain discrepancy of numbers. You're around people all the time, especially if you live in cities. You're around people all day, every day. You go to bars. People do bad stuff at bars. You go out. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're around people constantly, the chances that you run into somebody with bad intentions are going to be there. You live in New York City, as an example, and you get on a subway. The vast majority of the time, nothing's going to happen to you. The one-offs, nothing's going to happen. But if you go enough times, you're eventually going to have something happen to you. It's just the luck of the draw. The numbers of murders and other attacks that are happening right now around, especially in major cities, are drastically increased over the past couple of years. We can argue the semantics of like whether they're high or low. It doesn't matter. The point is that when you're around enough people long enough, you're going to run into people that do that. And unfortunately for women, it's not all men. It's not all men. I would not go around people if I knew somebody who was like that, who was that type of predatory person. That person would not be a part of my life. In fact, they're not. I don't have anybody that I know personally that would do that. And if they did, I would cut them off completely. That's not okay. The average man is like that. If you're putting yourself in the situations where you're around people who are like this, that is a terrible thing. And it does happen. I'm not denying that. But it's not the same as going out in the woods with a bear. A bear does not have the moral compass that humans do. Oh, as an introvert, I appreciate drivers like you. Sometimes I have the energy to interact, but sometimes I just want to dissociate until I go home. Exactly. Like I get vibes from people. I've been in cars with people. Like I've taken trips myself. Like I got in as a passenger with a driver who would not stop asking me questions. I'm like, dude, I don't want to talk to you. Speaking of which, I had to an issue where my car got towed, and I had to go get it from the tow yard, which was an hour away from where I live. So I had the guy who had to take me. He's on his phone, like doing stuff. I'm like very uncomfortable with it. I don't like, hey Alex, I only like driving myself. I don't really trust anybody else to drive me. I don't like it. My wife can drive. I trust her, but I still don't like it. And he's like on his phone looking at stuff and driving all radically, not speeding up. He's honking at people. And I'm like, bro, this is Florida. You don't just if you can avoid road rage, avoid it. Anyway, we get to the junkyard and he drops me off. And I go and I ring the bell and I have to wait for them to come up. He sits there for like 5 minutes. He eventually backs up and drives by slowly with the window down. He goes, "Hey, no one's helping you out, huh?" I said, "Oh, they're coming." He parks across the street, and this is like a small, like, it's not an alley, it's an actual street, but it's a very tight street, like in a, forgot. Anyway, it's like kind of like an alley, but it's a little wider than that. It is an actual road. And he parks across the street, gets out and starts smoking a cigarette as I'm waiting. And 5-10 minutes goes by. And he walks across the street. And I'm being nice to him up to this point. But he walks across the street. And he's like, "Hey, Dean," because he still knows my name. Because you can see it on the Uber app. He goes, "Hey, Dean, what's going on?" And I looked at him and I'm like, now, I hate to be like this. Because I'm not like a confrontational person. But if you push my buttons enough, I'll say something. And I'm irritated with him at this point because he won't just leave. I just want you to leave, dude. And I looked down and I said, "Dude, you're being a bit weird. I'm not a small dude. I'm 6'1", like 245 pounds. This is like a scrawny little like 50-year-old dude." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." And then he drives off. But yeah. Do not feed wild animals. Yeah, it's never a good idea to feed wild animals. So glad to catch you live. I love your channel. Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Bears are black and white. They are a matter of fact. Yeah, inspired me to start an animal-related YouTube channel. Been a vet tech for 7 years now. Well, I gotta check that out. Let me see. What is it? What is your channel? Is it just Josh? Let me know what your channel is, because I'll subscribe to it. I do appreciate that. Girth, great name. I'd rather be with a man because I'm already a bear. Girth, bear. We can tell which way you roll, okay? Are you Seminole Indian or half? I am not native at all. I am Irish and Scottish, Puerto Rican, Russian Jew, Lithuanian, and like the ancestry thing said like some fraction of African descent of some sort. So that's, but I am Puerto Rican. That's why I have this beautiful tan skin. And Alex, I am doing good. I wish I wasn't working right now. I'd love to spend more time interacting with you. You the Tryhard 7 from the IPT. I don't know who that is. Who's Tryhard 7? Sorry, I don't know that. But anyway. Yeah, but to get back onto the bear thing. The point is that you're one of the most knowledgeable, intelligent people I've seen on YouTube, and I appreciate it. Well, I do appreciate that. I really do. I'm just a dude who likes talking about animals. For some reason, people like to hear me talk about them on the internet. And so I devoted a lot more of my time towards like that being the only thing I really, really like. And I've really gotten into it and dove into it, started going to school for it. I'm just a dude. There's nothing special about me. I'm a dude who likes to talk, and specifically about animals. And that's really about, I mean, other things too, but the internet knows me for animals. You're Neapolitan like most of the rest of... Exactly. I just consider myself white. That's the easiest way. I don't see myself in any other way. You know, I could say I'm like a quarter Puerto Rican or something like that, but like, I'm just a white dude. I think I like that. I am 100% on to the it's okay to like I call myself a Florida cracker because I grew up, born and raised here in Florida, which if anyone doesn't know what that means, it's literally just somebody who's born and raised in Florida. You have to be born here. Doesn't matter what color you are. But it was originally for cracking the whip on cattle because Florida was like the largest exporter of cattle in the United States at one point. What made you think of having the topic of the bear versus man comparison? I'll get back into that. We were talking about that before you jumped in. You have a great deal of intelligence, also the perfect voice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Would you rather be stuck with a polar bear or a pack of chimps? Rather be a man bear pig. Ooh, that would be awesome. A bear or a pack of chimps? A polar bear or a pack of chimps. Polar bears are one of the only bears that actually purposefully hunt humans, and 99% of their diet is meat, specifically large mammal meat. Chimps would prefer to be carnivores, and they are whenever they can get their hands on monkeys. And to be quite honest with you, there's no way you would win against a polar bear who wants to eat you if it's a one-on-one. And there's no way you would win against a pack of chimps, let alone one chimp. One chimp will still body you, but a group of them, absolutely no way. I would want to do the polar bear because the death would be quicker because they will just try to kill you. A pack of chimps will just rip you apart. They'll rip you apart piece by piece. They're not trying to kill you right away. They're just ripping you apart. And I don't want to lose my genitals. I very much am attached to them, quite literally. Yeah, I would choose polar bear. It's educational. It helps a lot of people understand animals. Keep it up, man. Well, thank you very much, George. They will hunt. Yeah, polar bears will hunt you and they will try to eat you. Chimpanzees. Yeah, exactly. Chimpanzees will rip your junk off. There's no coming back from that. What's your favorite? Probably our real cryptid. If we're talking about cryptids in the sense that it's just any animal that science doesn't think is around anymore, or around, but it could have been around in the past, my favorite would be the thylacine, for sure. If you're talking about animals that were never considered real, that would probably be real. That's a hard one. Because I don't know many animals that would... I don't know. I would think... I don't think Bigfoot's real. I'd like to, but I don't think they are. Well, thanks for stopping by, Josh. I appreciate that. And I am having a good day. How are you? I would... Gosh, that's a hard one. That probably are real. I would just go and have to say thylacine because I don't think... I would... Betty, you would say Megalodon. I wish I could say Megalodon, but I don't think they're still around. My friend grew up in Churchill. Is that Manitoba? Everyone there leaves their doors unlocked for people's protection against polar bears. Yeah, of her... What, so they can... Why would leaving your door unlocked protect against polar bears? That's, I don't necessarily get that one. But, I kind of want to go over something real quick. Because, okay, so we've gotten over Manitoba. Okay, I was right on that. Cool. We've talked a little bit about the bear situation. I'm going to play this one more time for the people who weren't there before.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
The bear. Bear.
So would you rather be stuck in the forest with a man or a bear? It seems like a ton of women are saying they'd rather be with a bear.
I agree with these women. If it were me and I was alone in the woods, I would prefer to see a bear than a man. It's not a bear that's roofing women. It's not a bear that is involved in sex trafficking. It's not a bear that women have to fear whenever they divorce that man or break up with that man. It's not a bear. It's a man. Truthfully, if men were honest and they were alone in the woods, even they would take their chances with a bear than another man.
What? Again, I understand.
Okay. So that gives the general understanding of what we're talking about here. I just don't think these people have ever been around bears. I just don't think they have. And let's look at something. I don't think many people realize this. Japan has a ton of bears. A ton of bears. And they attack people. And in fact, last year was the highest rate of bear attacks like in years over there. They're Asiatic bears. They're a type of brown bear. So Sato is just one. I want to see the exact bear attacks Japan. 6 fatalities in 2023. So last year alone, there were 6 fatalities due to Asiatic bears. Oh, these are Asian black bears, not brown bears. Okay, number of bear sightings. Number of bear attacks in Japan. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, look at this. By region, Tohoku was prominent with 138 attacks. This was more than double the 58 cases in 2017. At the time, the highest number of attacks in the past 15 years. This is just Japan. There were, in 2023, from a number I saw earlier, there were 193 bear attacks in 2023 in Japan. In Japan. I guarantee you, most people haven't heard about this. Open door is due to if a bear chases you, you don't try to. So you can just run in. Gotcha. Jay, no, they just eat you usually while you're still alive. Alex, I heard some stories about bear attacks from the YouTube channel Suki. I have to look into that. Betty, North Jersey has a lot of black bears. They usually aren't too much of an issue. True. Black bears, I've run into black bears in the wild before. Most of the time, black bears do not mess with you whatsoever. They're scared of people. But when they do decide to attack you, they will eat you. There was a guy last year who was dragged off his porch in Arizona. And it would literally, it dragged him off his porch and killed him. Why so many attacks there, do you think? Well, this is what I think of the situation. Conservation has gone a long way over the past 40 years. Many places around the world are actually caring about animals. Okay? And not only caring about animals, but any animal that people in the past probably would think was too dangerous to be kept alive, like wolves, bears, sharks, tigers, any of these big predators that most of the time would have been killed off are now being let to live, which is good. I'm not saying that's bad at all. But what happens is that these populations are now increasing. There are now a lot more bears around today than there were in the past, along with all these other top predators. And these top predators don't live in high densities. But when the population booms of people, and then the top predator population booms, and a lot of times where these bears or other animals used to live now have people in them, you get more bear-human interactions or animal-human interactions in general, and then that in turn turns into more attacks. That is my personal belief on that. In Japan is what I meant for the bear attacks. So what's the deal with sloth bear, tiger hunt them like it's nothing in India? Sloth bears aren't as big as a lot of other bears, and because tigers eat them, they are still large predators that have the ability to do a lot of. They have the ability to hurt a person, and because they are hunted by tigers, they are more on edge than a lot of other bears because they're the only bears that really have an actual predator that consistently eats them. So if they come across people, they're not messing around because they're used to being attacked by tigers, and they will just they have literally evolved to protect themselves more than the average bear. Black bears run the other direction, except for the 99th bear. He's the one that doesn't bluff. Exactly. Competition for resources. That's also another thing. Competition for resources. But it literally is just like, okay, Florida. I'll give you the alligator example because I know this example. Alligator attacks Florida 2023. I don't know if it'll show the straight up numbers. Okay. In Florida, since 1948, the FWC has recorded over 450 alligator bites on people in the state, with 30 of them being fatal. The FWC has attacks listed through 2022, though there were 2 attacks last year in Florida, one in Largo and another in Fort Pierce. There were, the one in Largo happened right, like literally, so the park that the one in Largo happened, there was a guy who was going for frisbee golf, so he would go for the frisbees like at night, and he would sell them because there's like a frisbee golf course at this lake. I worked across the street from it. I went on a field trip from my elementary school to that lake. What is it? Taylor Park. There we go. This one right here. So, yeah, the guy was swimming in the lake. This guy right here, he would swim in the lake, and people knew who he was because he would do it all the time. And then they ended up killing every alligator over like 7 feet long in that lake or something like that. Anyway, the point of it is, last year alone there were like 6 human fatalities due to gators, and a lot of it is because a lot more people are moving here over the past couple of years, and a lot of people don't understand what to do in the case of an alligator attack, or at least like where alligators live. They're just walking their dog near the water or whatever. There's just more interactions with alligators and people. Be right back. Twins are waking. Well, have fun with twins. That sounds like a lot of fun. They warned him as well. Yeah, they warned him as well many times. Let's see if this actually... Is this just a screenshot of a video? I think so. But yeah, that's the point, is that more people are running into these animals, and you're going to have more attacks. Reminds me of the orcas deliberately sinking boats. I wonder if they're getting annoyed at overfishing in their hunting grounds, so uncommon for them to do something like that in the wild. It could be. It could be. Or they might just trying to be having fun. They might just be trying to have fun. I don't know. It's like they know we're their top competition. It could be. It absolutely could be. But, let's see. Worldwide bear attacks 2023. Green matters. Let's see. Are we entering a new era of human-wildlife conflict? So this is a thing, apparently. Does it have actual numbers? That's just some Yellowstone. I want to know about the worldwide, because that's really what I care about right now. Bear toxin, 6 fatality. Japan sees unprecedented pace. North America bear attack statistics from the Bear Vault. Let's see. If you're new exploring bear country or planning an adventure, it wouldn't be odd to start wondering about bear attack statistics. In fact, it would be a pretty darn smart thing to do some research. A quick Google search is going to spit out a bunch of numbers and not much else. And chances are, if you're searching because you're looking to explore bear country, you're searching in hopes of finding common themes. You want to learn about others' mistakes, so You know, statistic, got your back, fatal bear statistics. Okay. Since bear human conflict deaths per year since 1784, 0.75. So less than a person a year has died because of bears since 1784, not 85. Okay, this might seem, that's not what I'm asking for. Okay, 66 fatalities in the United States. Wait, is this in the United States? See, this seems like a bear propaganda page. It's like they know true singing boats would sound like fun if you were an orca. Like cow tipping, exactly. Does cow tipping even exist? I keep on hearing about it. I've never seen a video of cow tipping. I think that's something I would have seen. Or is it just something you say you do when you're going out to find mushrooms that are growing on cow turds? Go along with the death roll. Don't fight it. There's a slim chance you'll be fine. Yeah, definitely don't. Just don't put yourself in that situation. Browmer statistics. Yeah, okay, this is just for the Americas. I'm not looking for the Americas. I'm looking for... I just don't think I'm going to be able to find that. I'd have to really do a deep dive into that. Because all I'm seeing is, like, there's not, like, an overall statistic on that. Let's see. Worldwide bear attacks. That's not giving me anything. How many bear attacks in 2022? Okay. I think we know, overall, you are more likely to be unalived or killed, whatever, by a human than you are a bear. That's not up for debate. We know this. Sounds mean to do to a cow anyway. Exactly. Enough with the bears. I think that if more people were around them, there would be more attacks. The average bear isn't going to do anything. I just did a little video. I'll go over this real quick. A Romanian tourist... a tourist from... I think she was from Ireland? Or Scottish. She was Scottish. This woman right here, 72-year-old woman, saw the bears on the side of the road, got this picture right here. She rolled down her window, and the bear got up into her window, and she took this picture of it, standing on its hind legs looking at her, and it scratched her. Now, it swiped at her, it scratched her. She had to go to the hospital. She was okay, non-life-threatening injuries. Good, I'm glad. What were you doing, lady? This might look cute, but you're 72 years old. Let's see. You're 72 years old. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen? A lot of it, all it takes is for these big predators to accidentally decide that they're done with you. Or play around with you a little too rough. There's nothing you're going to do to stop it. You'll do some stupid acts and the bear responds. Exactly. She is lucky to be alive. I'm glad she's okay. But, the intentions of the animal doesn't matter. The intentions of the bear doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's protecting its babies. It doesn't matter if it's hungry. It doesn't matter if it's curious and just doesn't, whatever. People go, as I said, swimming with sharks. The only reason that this is becoming a big deal is because of how preposterous it sounds. And these particular women want to pretend they're saying something profound about how men are. And I'm not here to go into the debate on statistics about men and their attacks and blah blah blah, because I don't think anyone can deny that some men do crappy things. Some men, not all men. I've never done anything like that. But no matter what you do in life, you should be able to protect yourself against any situation. And there is the great equalizer of the pew pew. Whether it be a bear or a man who's trying to do something he shouldn't to you. The pew pew is that's the equalizer. That's all I gotta say about that. How can we understand bear behavior? What do you mean by how can we understand it? We can see to an extent why the bear might do what it's doing. If it's a mother and it's got babies around, it's protecting the babies. You don't go around a bear doing that. If the bear, sometimes they just do it because they smell food and they think you're food, or that it's hungry and you're just happen to be there. Most of the time they'll leave you alone. Definitely understand their point. I just view it. I just left a live stream about a lady murdered on a dog in a park, but yeah, I also don't want to be in the square up with a bear. Pew pew. So, yeah, that's it. I live in Florida. Pew pews are part of my life. I understand in Canada that's not really a thing, but you know. Yeah, there are terrible things that happen, and people can be terrible creatures. There are plenty of bad things that happen in the world, and there's no denying that. There are plenty of evil men out there. There are. There are plenty of evil women. There are plenty of just terrible people. I am just, as I said earlier with the whole, like, Lyft and Uber thing, I am just as afraid of somebody I don't know coming across me in a trail. Maybe not in the same way. I will grant you that. But doesn't mean I'm not like worried that some random dude I don't know isn't going to try something. Because it happens. I don't know if the guy's going to try to rob me. I don't know any of this stuff. But I have a way to protect myself. I think you just have to always be aware. Exactly. It's just being aware of your surroundings. But to say you'd rather be out in the woods with a bear than a man, I'm playing along right now. I took the bait. That's all this is bait. So, oh my God, why would you say that? That doesn't make any sense. Well, actually, if you really think about it, men do this and men do that, and women are so oppressed. That's all it's trying to be. That's it. But, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. I did see the pilot whale situation. Let's see. Do bears have a particular scent? If so, can this help prevent terrible maulings? I mean, I'm sure it could. I mean, bears use their nose, and I mean, if you have food on you and they smell that, that could coax one into attacking you. And that's why you have bear spray, because their noses are so sensitive. If you spray them with bear spray, it messes with everything. But there's these, the pilot whales. So, these pilot whales, 31 of them die after hundreds. It says over 100 pilot whales beach themselves. Something I saw earlier said 200. Did they change the numbers? Because this is not updated at 7:02. Excuse me. 7:02. I swore there were way more than this.
Since 1848.
I swear there was a lot more than this. There was like 200. Let's see. That sucks. Thanks for taking so long to switch over. The final result was good. 130 whales rescued. 100. These are all saying over 100. Oh, this is Australian Broadcasting Corporation. The numbers I saw earlier said over 200. So I guess they've refined that a little bit. Short 160 whales stranded themselves at Toby Inlet near Dunsborough, with almost 30 confirmed dead. The majority have since moved offshore, with wildlife authorities monitoring their movements. What's next? Samples will be taken from the dead whales to help determine why the stranding occurred. Whales are beaching themselves last year in New Jersey. Really? In New Jersey? Some people think it may have to do with the underwater windmill energy technology. I've heard that too. So there was a couple of things I saw about this. Dunsborough. It's like this little... So one of the things that I saw was that the sand on these beaches, it's like a gentle slope, and that this is one of the areas that has like the pure quartz sand. It's like very all similar. It's the singing sand. We have it here in Clearwater, Florida. And like you walk on it and you could hear it making noises because they're all like very similar sizes and they're very smooth and they just rub off each other perfectly. And from the looks of it, they might be coming down the coast and like running into the sand beach right here, and it messes with their sonar, and like they don't realize they're coming shore until it's too late. That's and this happened in 1996, where like over 300 ended up stranding themselves. At least some of them were able to get back off. At least there's that. But oh god, that sucks. But yeah, 31 of them end up dying. Oh, this is the one from 1996.
The pod of long-finned pilot whales came ashore at Dunsborough, 250 kilometres south of Perth last night. Nearby residents were alerted as the whales beached on rocks.
It was absolutely horrific. There was blood in the water. The whales were making a squealing sound that it was just the noise and the commotion, the thrashing, and it was just absolutely devastating.
Conservationists and more than 100 volunteers were mobilised immediately to help the whales. Despite the best efforts of rescuers, about 20 of the whales died, but the rest of the pod was herded into deeper water. About 5 boats escorted the whales out to sea. Rescuers beat the sides of the vessels to try to deter the animals from heading back to shore. At one stage, 2 humpback whales appeared to be helping the pilot whales to get back on course.
Oh, that's cool.
By mid-morning, more than 14 hours after the beaching, the pod was safely at sea and rescuers were confident a mass stranding had been averted. Conservation officers will continue monitoring the pod to ensure the animals don't restrand.
And that was in 1996. So this beach has had this happen multiple times. Now, the other, and I don't know if this is a more fun way to look at it. What if these whales have a religion? And we know how smart these whales are. At least we're starting to better understand how smart a lot of animals are. What if these animals have a religion? And it's a cult. And they believe that every so often, or whatever, that they have to go and get on the comet that's about to fly by. And the only way to do it is to beach themselves. No, I don't think that's actually true. But, God, what if it was something like that? Because some people don't know why they do it. I mean, no one actually knows 100% why they do it. It's all speculation. Some people think it's underwater sounds from, like, whether it be turbines, as someone said earlier, or, like military testing. Do you know what they do with the bodies? I think they said that they drag them on shore. Let me see. People urge is clear. People will consider avoiding swimming in the area in the coming days as the whales could attract sharks. I read something somewhere else that they just dragged them on shore so that they would avoid. Still, it doesn't say in this article. I'll have to look up another one, but I swear they said they just dragged them on shore. I'm sure eventually they'll probably either drag them out or they'll do necropsies on them to see if there's anything wrong with them. Could be sound, acoustic pollution. Humans are really loud, but we're even louder in the ocean, she said. The sound could potentially be disturbing these animals. Knowing that we have impacts on land and in marine environments is something for us scientists to try to manage so we can best protect these creatures. No one actually knows why they're doing this 100%. There's only speculation. I know beaches can be a natural phenomenon, but I've never seen it before until last year. Multiple whales beached. Any idea why that humpback whale is there? Humpbacks just move around, and humpbacks are known to be very inquisitive and help they'll go out of their way to disrupt orca hunts because they're trying to protect the other animals and all that. They're like the caretakers of the ocean. Charlie Manson was exactly. And I really want to keep the great work here, True. Well, thank you very much, Trinity. I do appreciate that. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Exactly. Don't go near them either. If you see one dead on the beach, they can explode. They can after a certain amount of time. Dolphins leave Earth for other fish. Exactly. Thanks for the fish. Thanks for the fish. I can't do it. But I've only seen that once or twice, I think. But I know what you're talking about. What was it? New Jersey whale beached. I want to see this. Tracking dead whales found along New Jersey shoreline. Unusual humpback whale mortality event along the Atlantic coast since 2016. Whales have been seriously washing ashore in the tri-state since the end of last year. 2023 alone, at least 13 humpback whales have been stranded in New York and New Jersey. What? Really? But New York and New Jersey are not the only states that have an increase in whale carcasses on their beach. The Department of Environmental Protection has been tracking whale deaths along the Atlantic coast since January 2016. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection released a statement March 15th on what they are referring to as unusual humpback whale mortality event. Even though the unusual humpback whale mortality event started 7 years ago, it was not until January of 2023 that the New Jersey Department started receiving concerns about the development of offshore wind energy. Statement reads, in part, as of March 2023, no offshore wind-related construction activities have taken place in waters off the New Jersey coast. DEP is aware of no credible evidence that offshore wind-related survey activities would cause whale mortality. While DEP has no reason to conclude that whale mortality is attributable to offshore wind-related activities, DEP will continue to monitor. Instead, the DEP called attention to the increase in ocean temperatures due to human-caused climate change caused primarily by the burning of fossil fuels and the danger it possesses for marine animals. That's lazy. What do I mean by that? Anyone who has spent any amount of time watching my videos have probably heard me say this before. We don't know why this is happening. It could be because of this, or it's probably because of climate change and humans doing this, that, and the other thing. I get it. I don't deny climate change. I know it's real. Hey, Isaac, how you doing? I know climate change is real. I'm not denying it at all. But to sit here and use it as we don't know what's happening, so bam, climate change. It's lazy. And all you're doing, here's the thing. And this is something that this is my own conclusion I've come to over, for a while I didn't believe in climate change until I started really looking into things and I understand that it is a real phenomenon that is happening. Human-caused climate change is real. To the extent that it's real, I am not for this freak out that we are having right now. You're not helping anything by freaking people out like this, because the only people who care, or at least believe it's real, are the people who believe in it already. You're not changing people's minds by being a climate alarmist constantly, by putting it in people's face in every single article revolving around everything because of climate change. That doesn't tell people anything. That just says that it's climate change, and if they don't believe in it already, it's just going to be like, well, I don't believe what this article says because they're just throwing in climate change with it with no proof, blah, 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 whatever. I think that's a stupid argument that people make, but that's the argument that people make. So I believe it's lazy, and you're not getting your point across completely when you just throw it in there like that. There's ways that it needs to be talked about, and there needs to be a reality check on how we talk about it and how we go about fixing it. Because when people think of climate change, they also think of the green, going green and all that, because they've been pushed together. And it's not entirely wrong, but we're not in a state of, we don't have the ability to do a lot of the things that we feel like need to be done in order to curb this. We don't have the technology. Electric cars are great. I'm not against them. But it's just a feel-good thing at this point, because you have to go and drill for cobalt and all these other things, and it causes more energy to create these electric cars than they ever save. Just producing them negates anything that would save them over the course of, I forgot how many years. I'd have to look up the chart again. But the point is that we're not there technologically speaking yet. Should we clean up the environment? Absolutely, 100%. Should we cut down on carbon emissions? There's a lot of things we can do. The United States has done a lot. Other countries don't give a shit. China, India, they're worrying about keeping up and overtaking other parts of the world, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because each country should be able to do what they want to do. What I'm saying is they don't care about the environment. But we have to pretend like we're the only arbiters of truth here. Anyway, rant over. Specifically, food sources for whales like menhaden are forced to adapt to rising sea temperatures by moving landward in more favorable location. Whales' food follow their food source, and the closer they get to land, the more likely they are to come in conflict with human activities, i.e. be hit by a vessel. Although the DP has identified an increase in whale deaths along the Atlantic coast since 2016, Eyewitness News has been tracking the whale deaths in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut since January 2023. Let's see. I live by the shore. People really love these animals here, including me. They're so intelligent. Aren't their frontal lobes like quadruple our size? They're extremely intelligent. I don't know about the size of the brain necessarily, but it would make sense. Toothed whales often beach themselves due to social bonds. Single whales may beach due to sickness, injury, or old age. Loud underwater noises like sonar can disorient and beach whales. It could be natural, we don't know, but it is weird to see shortly after the underwater turbines. Yeah, I agree with you. Due to social bonds, it's sad. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Take small steps with this stuff. The article had something of the link to climate. Change. Yeah, I mean, I can understand they finally start talking about it a little bit, but it's just annoying whenever I see that human-caused climate change caused primarily by the burning of fossil fuels. It's annoying, because you're not actually swaying anyone's mind. You're just immediately turning people off to the people who don't agree with it already. The latest whale to wash up on the East Coast was found Tuesday, August 29th, in Love Ladies on Long Beach Island. Adult female pygmy sperm. An adult female pygmy sperm measuring 10 feet 9 inches. You got to put whale in there. That's a big old sperm. And weighing 800 pounds was stranded on the beach on Seaview Drive. Trained Marine Mammal Stranding Center, MMSC, staff, as well as members of Long Beach Township Beach Patrol assisted in making the animals as comfortable as possible by keeping her upright and wet as she lay on the beach. Sperm does like to be wet. The whale was eventually carried in a stretcher onto a truck and moved off the beach. The stranding team rushed the whale to the MMSC's veterinarian. Upon examination, okay. So, jeez, so just a bunch of whales. A whale carcass, 25 to 30 feet long. Looks like a humpback. Oh, whale carcass discovered in a lake in Nassau County. Oh, man. Vessel strike, another one, August 12th. August 11th. June 27th. June 2nd. June 1st. May 19th. May 6th. The minke whale. What in the world? Or March 3rd. March 2nd. February 17th. Yeah, that got hit by a propeller. February 13th. How have I never heard about this? January 12th. Oh my god, January 7th. What the What? How have I never heard this? I wonder who decided to name them sperm whales. Well, it's because of the material in their head. It's like, I forgot what the material's called, but it's like spermacea or something like that. You have any favorite cetacean species? Excuse me. I like sperm whales. I do. I think they're awesome. I also like, I do like orcas a lot. They like to be upright and wet. Yeah. People who have nothing to gain can be unbiased. Any change to a natural environment can be detrimental to all animals, causing multiple deaths, as the article shows. Exactly. 20 years, I've never seen anything like it. These whales are committing seppuku. Wow. Greed equals death. It can. It definitely can. Let's see. Let me get... Let's see if you want to get in here, Saget Master. Oh, I like the ortho as well, the Amazon pink river dolphins. Yeah. I like a lot of them, to be quite honest with you. But the issue is, I don't like dolphins. I know orcas are just giant dolphins. And do you guys know about dolphins? Do you know about dolphins? Do you know what dolphins do? Bottlenose dolphins, to be specific. Specific, not Pacific. What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm just in Saguaro National Park right now, dude. Can't talk.
Oh.
Too sick.
Too sick. Okay, well, don't say anything inappropriate. Everyone can hear you.
No worries, dude. I'm super woke, I promise.
You super
YouTube,
woke.
don't cancel me.
Well, we were going to talk
Saw
about...
some Gamble's quail, dude.
What?
Give Gamble's quail a Google. These things are beautiful.
Gamble's quail?
Anyway, I'm going to go back to watching the stream, dude. I'll call you back later.
Sounds good. Bye. Let's see. Did I spell quail? No, I didn't. Ooh, look at that. Is that what you're seeing, bro? That's pretty cute. I like birds a lot. I'm just not as knowledgeable on birds as I'd like to be. There's a lot of them. I have a hard enough time for snakes. But anyway, let's look into bottlenose dolphin attacks. We'll start off with the attacks. Now, this happened last year in Japan. I do know what dolphins do, unfortunately. Yeah. So many comedians make the joke. They're yeah. They're these ones actually just attacked people. The content is not available in your location. Well, that is countryist. Yeah, 4 swimmers were attacked by bottlenose dolphins, and one man in the 60s suffered broken ribs. Yeah, and bites in the arms. In a separate incident the same morning, 2 people were injured swimming by mammals later in the day. 6 such attacks this year. Fukui. So these dolphins are going around just attacking people. Males are calling like crazy. They just started pairing off instead of being in big groups. That's awesome. What's your friend's name who was just on? That is Saget Master 4 in the comment section. That's who that was. Mr. Bob Saget himself. I thought you were dead. Didn't you die in St. Pete? Did you, like, fall or something like that in a hotel? Ooh. Sweet tea. It's so good. It's so bad. That YouTuber Suki also talked about this. Let me look at this guy. Suki. Let's see this guy. Oh, I've seen some of this guy's stuff. Okay, I've seen this. Let's see. Yeah, I've seen some of this guy's stuff. I haven't, like, watched it, but I've seen his stuff pop up. Oh, no, not Little Asian Girls. Sorry, I'm not interested. Okay, I'll have to take a look at him. Let me see. I'll subscribe to that. I make videos about wildlife. I'll have to take a look at that. Bob Saget, he's typing from beyond. Yeah, you can call me Danny Tanner. Oh, man. But yeah. I didn't know about those humpbacks, and well, a lot of other bears too. This is definitely. I got a whale strandings, Jersey. Let's see if there's anything else on East Coast whale die-offs unraveling the case. Yale E360. Let's see if there's anything on that. It's been marked an unusual mortality event for humpback whales. Such episodes, which are codified in Marine Mammal Protection Act, involve unexpected strandings and a significant die-off. No, I'm not donating to journalism. Involved unexpected strandings and a significant die-off of any marine mammal population. After a decline in strandings in 2021, a dramatic spike appears once again to be underway. Between December 1st, 2022 and March 1st, 2023, 16 humpbacks have stranded on or near shorelines from North Carolina to New York. The highest number ever recorded during that particular 3-month period. 10 of the whales have been found on beaches or just offshore from New Jersey and New York. Okay. Does it say anything why? Okay, here we go. The claim was first made in January here we go. And yet activist groups, politicians, and other media are falsely framing the New York and New Jersey strandings as unprecedented. The claim was first made in January after the states experienced 5 humpback strandings, and the allegations have since engulfed coastal towns in New Jersey, where construction of the largest offshore wind farm in the U.S. is set to begin as early as next year. Building wind farms off the eastern seaboard has been discussed for decades. However, the Biden administration, with the support of 11 coastal states, has moved quickly to carve out huge swaths of oceans for development. New Jersey has been the most ambitious, setting a goal to power more than 3.2 million homes with offshore wind by 2035. Last year, the energy companies, how do you pronounce that? Oh, with a slash through it. Is it Ørsted and Atlantic Shores began conducting seafloor surveys of the coast, off the coast of New Jersey, for their respective lease areas, which have space for hundreds of turbines. That work drew little attention, but after the January strandings, groups opposed to offshore wind development began blaming the deaths on the surveying, some of which used pulses of sound to map the seafloor surface and subsurface. Since then, 30 mayors of coastal New Jersey municipalities, along with several of the region's state and federal representatives, have called on both New Jersey's governor and President Biden to pause all activity by offshore wind companies until an investigation determines the cause of the strandings. Oh. Okay. Wow. So that's weird. That is weird. I've seen the videos, are quite nice because I know Danny Tanner. How would you reintroduce a species if you were in charge of it? How would I reintroduce a species if I was in charge of it? It depended on the species. That would be a deep dive. They sonic blasted. It sounds like they did. Hello from Amish Country, Illinois. Amish Country? I'm assuming you're a ma'am just from your profile picture. Three Hells Bells? Three Hells Bell? How are you on your a phone or a computer in Amish Country? I thought that was against the religion. Or are you a rebel? Sounds like you're a rebel. Yeah, it sounds like they might have sonic blasted them. I mean, not that it is That's what it sounds like. I gotta really look into this. The work related to offshore wind projects is the primary difference in our waters, New Jersey State Senator Vince Polistina said in January, referring to a recent change in the ocean that might be drastic enough to trigger whale strandings. And it's hard to believe that the death of these whales on our beach is just a coincidence. However, the Marine Mammal Commission, as an independent government agency that oversees the conservation of marine mammals and their environment, said in February that there is no evidence to link these strandings to offshore wind energy development. It added, although these strandings have generated media interest and public scrutiny, this is not an unusual large number of whales to strand during winter. Indeed, since NOAA declared the start of the UME in 2016, both New Jersey and New York have seen high numbers of strandings. New York alone had 36 in the past 7 years, though they occurred more often in the spring and summer. And while certain types of sound have been shown to harm cetaceans, the scientists who study the impact of sound on marine mammals says the types recently used by Ørsted and Atlantic shores operate at frequencies that pose little risk to baleen whales like humpbacks. And scientists who study whale behavior in general say it is impossible to definitely link the strandings to a single cause given the complexity of the ocean, the dramatic changes the North Atlantic has experienced in recent decades, and how much is still known about how these animals might be affecting, how these changes might be affecting baleen whales. That's weird. I grew up in Amish country. They're cool. He means where the Amish live. Oh, gotcha. Be more specific to reintroduce questions. The animals are wolves. How would I reintroduce wolves? Not the way Colorado has, that's for sure. I would find areas that would be able to sustain the population that had plenty of space, not only space, like Yellowstone is a great example, have not only plenty of space, but are protected and are large areas that won't have much human activity. And that includes, like people using the land for cattle. At least give them enough space where it's not like completely one on top of the other. And you can't really contain them it's not really something you can do with wolves as much. I would find those areas through a bunch of surveys and speaking to a bunch of people. I would go to the state or the local area and have them do a vote on what, like, we're only going to release them here, here, here. We're going to contain this. And then I would go to the people and ask them to vote yes or no on it. Not just be like Colorado and be like, hey, us as Colorado, we're going to release these wolves and we're going to vote on it and we're just going to release them in this area and without much, like, I don't know. It would be very difficult. And I don't know. It would have to be up to a big number of people. We need some type of larger carnivore around here. The deer population is absolutely insane. Not sure about the habitat cover from fall to winter. What I would say about that is humans do a great job of hunting deer. A lot of places don't allow humans to hunt deer when they should. Or the numbers of deer should be allowed to increase. Like the amount that people can hunt should be allowed to increase. You're knocking out a bunch of birds with one stone. Just throwing wolves in there might not fix that problem because the wolves aren't necessarily always going to go for the deer. If humans were allowed to hunt more deer, it would solve a lot of food issues for some of these people who might have a little bit tighter budgets, because we're all going through that right now. I know people personally, many people, that if they were allowed to hunt more than 2 deer in a season, they would be all over it. Some places you can hunt more than that, but like if they were allowed to hunt like 5 or 6 a year in certain areas, I know plenty of people would go and do it, and humans can easily control the population of deer. I live in Colorado. Every animal lover did not know what to vote for. Every farmer voted against the wolves. Every hippie voted for the wolves. Exactly. And honestly, unfortunately, that's how a lot of it happens. It's a very difficult situation to reintroduce a large carnivore. And if you have too many deer, let people hunt them. It's as easy as that. When you were talking about how FWC negatively impacts how people trap tegus, did you say they expanded in Georgia? Yeah, the tegus have. Tegus expanding into Georgia. Tegus are not native. Here, this was from November of last year. The battle of native invasive wildlife in Georgia hit a little closer to home for Athens woman on Wednesday. A 4-foot lizard was found under her home, and a neighbor said a giant lizard was in her yard. Now, tegus are legal in the state. If they are legal. So here, they can survive in 50 degrees, and they can also, like, if they dig a burrow, they can survive in the colder temperatures than that. Yeah, so tegus have been found in Georgia. Whether or not it was someone's pet that escaped doesn't really matter. They can survive, though. I actually heard a really interesting proposal about managing deer populations today. Remember when we get in the call. Yeah. Hunting is on the decline culturally, though. It depends. It honestly depends. A lot more people are hunting than you think. I think that if you gave people the ability and more ease of access to hunt, a lot of that is because it's so difficult to hunt. The amount of time you get to hunt, on top of like how expensive it can be just for 2 deer, it makes it not worth it for some people. If you don't mind me asking this again, where did jaguars hunt people? Jaguar attacks. Alright. Here we go. Let's see. Oh. Okay, sorry. May 2007, a 40-year-old male was attacked. A 17-year-old in 2010 was attacked. These three, a 21-year-old fisherman was attacked. Ooh, There was some, yeah, don't want to look at that. Toddler was attacked by a jaguar in a Mexico ranch outside of Chihuahua. There are plenty whenever I'll have to look in it. I didn't realize I was gonna find pictures I didn't want to find on there. If you don't, but they do happen, and they have been known to kill people in like Brazil in the Amazon. True coyotes absolutely do not always order wild takeout. Exactly, they will go for livestock, pets, and little kids. Coyotes, not really. So coyotes, I believe there's only been 2 attacks from coyotes ever recorded. Coyote attacks. It's either 2 recorded deaths or just 2 recorded attacks overall. Okay. Well, attacks apparently not as uncommon as I thought. But I think coyotes have only killed 2 people ever. Rabid coyote. Let's see. Let's see. For example, the coyote caused fatality in Nova Scotia in late 2009 was a result of a 375% increase in the number of primary articles addressing coyotes and coyote. Okay, so hiker attack, coyote, fatal attacks, people. Kelly Keene, I've heard about this, is the only known fatal coyote attack on a child, as well as the only known fatal coyote attack on a human ever confirmed in the United States. On August 26, 1981, 3-year-old Los Angeles resident Kelly Lynn Keene was dragged off her property and fatally wounded by an urban coyote before she could be rescued by her father. The event is also notable for its aftermath, in which large numbers of coyotes were killed and 2 animal rights activists provoked an uproar by claiming that her parents, not the coyote, had killed her. Oh! Oh. Okay. I might have to do a video on this. I didn't realize it was that. Like that. I believe the wolves would go after him, easier prey if given a chance. Yeah, exactly, they do. You think a feral cat can kill a Puerto Rican boa? Yeah. I mean, if it was large enough, I'm sure. I'm actually doing a project for my class right now on like the animal that I'm focusing on had be endemic to the United States, and we're given a few places, and the only place, and one of them was a Caribbean. The only place that's considered the United States is, Puerto Rico, and so my project is about the Puerto Rican boa because it's an endemic species to technically the United States and the Caribbean. So funny enough, that's what I'm doing it on. So feral cats can kill them if they're, the boa is small enough. Fact, as Alex Jones doubt. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like the coyote ate my baby, or the dingo ate my baby thing. And I'll try that. I gotta look into this, and I'll do a whole I'll do a video on this. It may not be this Saturday's video because I'm still doing these once a week, videos coming out on Saturday, and I'm gonna start, clipping, my stream stuff and trying to upload those either every day or every other day. It just depends on how many I get and blah 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 blah. But Well, what he means by that, Alex, is that the animal rights activist said, like, made a conspiracy up that the parents killed the kid and not the coyote. Like, you know, I guess a way to compare that would be when Alex Jones said that the Sandy Hook thing didn't happen and that they were all paid actors. Like, no, people really did die. And that's what he means by it. But if you don't know who Alex Jones is, then I don't know if you're on the internet that much. I'll definitely have to. I will keep that in mind right there. But yeah, I don't know. When it comes to releasing these animals, I just think that, especially when it comes to top predators, reintroductions into areas where people are not used to these animals still being there, especially for like a long time. When was the last time that wolves were in Colorado? When were wolves extirpated? I think I spelled that right. From Colorado. 1940. So 1940 was the last time that wolves were in Colorado. Like that's when they were wiped out. So 80 years. Wait, 60. Yeah, 83 years. You know, you get lone wolves and stuff. But 83 years. Oh, 2 generations. I think what? A generation's what? 30 or 40 years, something like that. And you just put in, a lot's happened. Let's see. Colorado population 1940. $1,130,000. Colorado population 2023. 5,877,610. All right, so that's like what, roughly 4.5 million more people, more than that. It's a lot more people, and now all of a sudden you get wolves released in there when they hadn't been there in basically anyone, for the most part, most people's lives entire life. Most people who are alive now had never been around wild wolves in Colorado, and now all of a sudden you're releasing wolves in there. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. Those people are not equipped or understand what they're dealing with when they come to, like, you can look at the wolves from a distance and think, oh yeah, I would love it if they were here. But in all reality, the people who actually have to deal with them on a daily basis, they're like, what the no. Why would I want to have to worry about another thing that could potentially hurt my livestock? I understand it's not all just about livestock, but like, it's a huge thing. You know, there should be like signs or even some kind of informative videos on recent reintroduced species so people can be prepared. I mean, they let you know. Usually they don't just start re-releasing species, but this kind of stuff hasn't really happened much in areas for that question I ask. I'm sure they do have it, and they've talked about it. I mean, it's been a huge thing in the news. I'm sure in places in Colorado they've talked about it. But like, even here in Florida, the Florida panther never completely disappeared. It's not like the Florida panther was completely wiped off the face of the earth and we got Texas panthers or mountain lions or whatever and brought them over and we're like, here you go, here are some mountain lions. That's not what happened. They never left. There was just a small number of them and they worked on protecting them. And now, how many Florida panthers are left? Florida panther population. They claim that there's just over 200 in the wild. From my understanding and from the people I've talked to, a lot of people believe there are more than that. How many more? I'm not entirely sure. But the point of it is that, okay, so 20 or 30 remained in the wild in the 70s. And then they brought in some Texas Panthers to help kind of replace some of the gene pool. And, so they because they were interbreeding like crazy, and there was a lot of issues like their testicles wouldn't distend and all sorts of other things that were making it hard for them to survive. Genetic issues due to inbreeding is a big problem when you have such low population densities. And they brought in these some Texas Panthers to help rejuvenate the gene pool. And now they're doing a lot better, and they're extending the range. And now they're getting hit by cars like crazy because we got a ton more people here than we did in the South. Okay, let's do this again. Florida population 1970. $1970, 6,791,000. Oh, I already know what this is going to be. You guys are going to like this. 2023. 22,610,726 in 2023. That's a lot of people. We don't have this. I mean, Panthers don't really cause much of an issue. It's just a different type of animal. They're loners for the most part. They get hit by cars a lot. They don't really attack people. People have been attacked by them recently. There was an attack last year by a turkey hunter. He got swatted in the face by one. And I think that was the first ever recorded panther attack on a person in Florida. Have you ever seen a Florida panther in person? I have seen them in zoos. I have not seen one in the wild, though. I wonder if there will be an increase of video of people trying to pet them. It wouldn't surprise me. Heard about the inbreeding problem with Florida panther from a book. Yeah, it was a big issue. You can bring me in whenever. Oh, now you want to come in? Saget Master? Oh, man. Yeah, this is, that's a big population jump. And, a lot more people. Oh, here's the crazy thing. I'll also do this. Let's see. No, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Let's see. Google Earth. Let's have some fun with Google Earth real quick. Florida Panthers.
Oh.
Like, see, me too. Hey, what's up?
I'm ready to go, dude.
Ready to go do what?
I'm all quailed up and ready to talk about whatever.
Oh, you got the quaaludes? The quaaludes.
Oh, dang, that's a good one, dude. Took me a sec.
I'll be here all night. All right, so we're gonna look at the Florida Panther range, and I want to show you guys something. So this is the Florida Panther National Wildlife. Here we go. National Wildlife Refuge. This right here. See this big chunk of area right here? I passed this the other day on my way to go see Jeff Colwyn. Okay, cool. This is the Everglades. Ba-dum-bum-bum. We get that. So you see the Florida Panther National Wildlife Refuge. Let's zoom in right next to it. Okay. What is this? You seeing all this? Mr. Saget, are you seeing this?
Oh, you're talking to me.
Well,
You're
I mean
talking to the
anybody,
audience.
but,
Yeah, no.
but do you see what I'm pointing at right here? These little lines?
These devastating amounts of development
So I went through here, and this hasn't updated in at least a year. This up here, this is kind of updated. You can kind of see it. See all these little individual things? Those are houses. Right next to, butting up to, the Florida Panther National Wildlife Refuge. Literally right there. All of this down here at the Picayune Strand State Forest, Fakahatchee, all these lines are all going to become roads and houses. All of this. All of this in here. Laurel Homes, Immokalee. You know, here's Corkscrew Swamp. Oh, Corkscrew Swamp. You see this right here? I want to show you a video real quick. You might have seen this. I am dumb. Is it Corkscrew Swamp Panther? Have you seen this video right here?
Dude, I can't watch the stream and be in the call at the same time, Dan.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Well,
Oh my God.
for everybody.
Oh my god.
So you see that video. If a lot of people have seen it, it's a video of a woman walking on a boardwalk, and the panther runs past her real quick. Have you seen that video? She's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Right where I'm pointing right now, guys, Corkscrew, right here. This is where that happened. You see that? In between all of these homes. Like, this is 75. This is the interstate. All of this. There's Babcock Ranch, which is open, but all of it, like, they're all moving through all of this, and they're getting hit by cars constantly. They're making their way all the way up to Lakeland, which is right here. They are being found in backyards in Lakeland. That's Tampa. Okay? Basically from I-4 south, panthers are being spotted all throughout here. But, according to the state, they are not north of this river, which is the Caloosahatchee. And that, if anyone watched the, if you ever have watched the show on, I think National Geographic came out with it, it's called Path of the Panther. Leonardo DiCaprio was involved in it. The guy was taking pictures of panthers here in Babcock Ranch and proved that there was a female panther north of this river, and it was a huge deal because the FWC and other state wildlife agencies would not admit that the panthers had made their way north of this river right here. Because if they did, they could not build through Babcock Ranch because they want to put, it recently got shot down, but they want to put like highways through it, like toll roads and stuff through it. They were going to put 3 of them through there, and they're still wanting to develop this area. So this is stuff that's happening right now. I know I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But like this, it's a big deal right now.
Well, yeah, and just to emphasize the significance of finding a female, the males have much bigger wander ranges, especially when they're juveniles trying to establish their own territory. So the fact that it's a female shows that they're like males 30 miles north of there, guaranteed 100% no matter what.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. And so all the panthers that have been hit by cars, especially like last year, in December, there was one hit in Lithia right here, which is literally right by Brandon, Riverview, like near downtown Tampa, within 30 miles of downtown Tampa. Like, very close. I used to live in that area. Like, literally, they had been hit like 5 miles away from where I lived. The point is that they are expanding their range because there's more of them now. And they can't be in such high densities because these animals need huge ranges. And when you have over 200 panthers now, where do they go? They have to move out. And what's all of this? These are all phosphate mines in here. This is all destructed habitat, and then roads and highways and homes. This is not just greenery. This is like people living here. You see these phosphate mines. Anyway, it's ridiculous. Don't mean to talk over you, bro.
No, you're good. You can go off, dude. I'm just chilling. We can, we can talk about Panther situation is just wild, but you said your piece on it. I don't think there's much more I can add to it.
Yeah. What is Three Hells Bells? Couldn't they build wildlife overpass if they want to put highways and such? Would they even help? They would help. That would require a lot of money, because they are super expensive to build those. They're super expensive to build them. I don't know why they don't. There should be a lot more done, but they don't do them. I'm surprised a collared panther hasn't shown that evidence of them moving north. Only if there's not many of them that are collared or tagged. There are a few, but you would think, but a lot of them end up getting hit by cars anyway, and they talk about them. But so, what else did you see out there, bro?
Oh, a good one's Vermilion flycatcher. You can
Really?
Google that one. You guys have them in Florida, maybe.
You might be right on that. I've heard of them.
They're beautiful. There's only a few
wow.
really bright red birds in North America, and they're one of them.
I think we might have them.
Yeah, I know they're going to Texas.
Let's see. It says, okay, yeah, there's some winter spots on one of these maps. Non-breeding resident. Oh, this one's showing no.
Yeah,
This
they probably
one's
winter in the
showing yes.
Caribbean or something,
There we
so they
go.
might kick into South Florida or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
this
they're
one
cool.
shows along the Gulf Coast. Apparently, they hit the Gulf Coast every once in a while. Speaking of which, not vermilion flycatchers, but one really cool thing I saw not too long ago was I saw orioles this winter. That were actually eating a pair that were eating at my bird feeder, and I had never seen orioles before until this past winter.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I'm assuming the Baltimore. You mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Out here we've got the we've got a couple different types out here. But one is the Scots oriole, and they're almost all canary yellow with a deep black head. They're really cool.
Really, that's cool. Have you ever heard of a painted bunting?
Oh yeah. They're on my list. I haven't seen one yet, though.
I have seen one. What?
Yeah, they're spectacular.
Yeah, I've seen one. I was chameleon hunting in Lehigh Acres, South Florida, and was looking through a bush, and I was like, why does this look like a fake bird? I'd never seen or heard of them before, and I have a video of it from a while back. Beautiful bird just sitting there in a tree.
It really popped?
Yes.
When you saw it live?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have video of it, and it turned out very well. It turned out.
Yeah, they're spectacular.
Alex says, when you go herping, do you go when the wind is low? I wouldn't necessarily say I rely on the wind too much, but I will say that my best times tend to be when I don't notice the wind. So maybe that has some sort of cause and effect. But I have found snakes when it's windy. It's just harder to herp when it's windy. I've found snakes when it's raining, like in the middle of a storm, but not a really bad storm, just more like a drizzle. If it's really badly storming, I don't think I've seen snakes, but that might have something to do with it.
Oh, I saw two Coues deer bucks. So they're pretty neat. So they're a whitetail subspecies that's been separated from the rest of the population. They're what we call a relic population.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dean probably knows this, but I'm just I'm telling the viewers. So they're a subspecies. They're really small, just like a key deer. They max out at like 90 or 100 pounds. But they existed in widespread areas when there was more rainfall in this area. But as the rainfall has decreased in the last 1,100,000 years, they've been restricted to the higher elevations, and the mule deer have taken their place in the more arid areas where they can survive.
I didn't realize that history about them.
Yeah, it's really neat. There were two bucks too. They were in velvet. It was cool.
That's really cool. In velvet already. Oh, well, I guess it is. That's
Our
great.
seasons are so whack out here too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the turkeys have been going at lower elevations. The turkeys have been mating since like early March.
Do
It
you have
really
the
threw me
Rio
off.
Grande
But,
turkeys?
no, actually, it's the Gould subspecies. So
Really?
they look superficially like a Miriam, but the Gould subspecies is actually the rarest. They were extirpated from America, but they still lived in Mexico. The settlers shot them all for food. But
They're
we
beautiful.
brought back wild populations from Mexico, and now they've proliferated really, really well. I see them all the time.
We get the Osceolas out here.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm jealous. They've got the longest spurs, dude. Do you know how big they get though? They probably don't even get 20 pounds, do they?
No, I mean a big one is like the biggest they get is 20 pounds. They're usually the ones I see are
Okay.
usually probably like 12 pounds, 13 pounds at max.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're. I mean, right by my house there is a like there's a ton of them where I live. And this spring,
Mm.
there in the spring, like driving like just to get onto the highway, I pass a bunch of farms and cow pastures and everything. And there's a lot of construction and stuff, and they push them out. So there's like a few places where you see them a lot. And like you'd see groups of 30 or 40 of them, and there'd be like 4 or 5 males in the group, strutting around. It was awesome. A lot of turkeys. And then there's like a area that's highly congested. It's like a major road now, and there's some recent development has pushed some of the last turkeys in that area to literally like you would go by on a busy road and they'd be standing in front of a bus stop. It would just be a lone male turkey standing in front of a bus stop, and it would be crossing the road. And it was very sad. But like people would post pictures on the local Facebook pages about, has anyone seen this turkey? And it's like, yeah, leave him alone. Like well, why can't we bring him somewhere? It's like because homes were developed on his land, like where he lived. Like he just doesn't know where to go because where he used to live is gone now. It's very sad.
Yeah, that's Florida.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It pays to be a small animal with a small range.
Yes and no. It depends on
Yeah, I mean,
what.
you might just die.
Yeah.
You might just die.
Yeah. I mean, we got like it was the short-haired or not short-haired, short-tail king snake, which is only found in like central Florida in the sandhills and like in certain areas. And I've never seen one, but they do have populations close to where I live, but they live underground most of the time, so you barely ever see them. But most people have never even heard about them because they have such a small range here, and like it's just once their habitat is fragmented enough, there's just going to be no more left. Just none left, and they're just all get like the Osceola, or not Osceola, Ocala National Forest will probably be the last stronghold of them, and then they're just gone after that. The indigo's got a bit more of a range, but there's a few. The Florida sand skink is another one. Let's see.
Yeah, well, the sand flames in particular in central Florida there, that habitat is almost all gone.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really rare endemic plants that live in that area. There's probably a ton that went extinct that we didn't even document, but there's a lot that are, it's like a couple hills where they can live now that haven't been developed.
One of the areas that I've been to a couple times, and it's gorgeous. Here's the sand skink. For any of you guys who can see, it literally has like nubs for legs because it swims through the sand. What is it called? The Lake Wales Ridge. It's like the only area in Florida that was above water, like however many thousands of years ago. And like, so a lot of the species that live there are endemic because they've been there for so much longer than any of the other land. And like a lot of the plant species there are stuff that's been there a lot longer than anything else has in Florida. It's a really cool thing. But like, you can see it from the maps right here. So from right here, you can see, I mean, there's a lot of homes and stuff here now, but like this Lake Wales area, but a lot of these areas in here, it's just the highest elevation in Florida. I believe the highest point is right over here somewhere. There's like Mount Dora is over here. It's right near Disney. Right near Disney. But like this is called Lake Wales Ridge, and it's just that's the highest point in Florida. It was above water before anything else, and just a lot of crazy cool species there.
Yeah, that's all it takes is that, that geographic restriction, then you get all these new species. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, in Arizona, you got a lot of those, like, especially in the mountains, a lot of really cool stuff out there. They're just it's like its own little, it's like islands out in the middle of the desert, basically.
Yeah, if it's not a full species, it's a subspecies out here. It's thrilling whenever you see anything, practically any reptile, any mammal, you can be virtually assured it's some kind of subspecies. Like there's the Mount Lemon squirrel. It's a completely different species than, a couple of other squirrels that live even in southeast Arizona.
Mount Lemon squirrel. I've never heard of it. Let's see.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's just a gray squirrel.
well, oh no,
Very boring.
That's Abert squirrel that it's showing me. That's not what you're talking about. Mount Lemon squirrel. Does it have like taller ears or something than other gray squirrels? So it looks like it has some pretty big ears.
Oh yeah, I mean, Albert squirrel. There's a couple different species down here. Was my point though. So in these like you were saying, these mountain ranges act like islands geographically because they have so much higher rainfall, and they can actually support these different forest ecosystems, multiple different types of forest ecosystems depending on the rainfall. But it's beautiful territory.
Yeah, we have the Sherman's fox squirrel. They look like little old men. They got like a white nose, which makes it look like they have like a mustache or something. And they're huge. They're like 3 or 4 times the size of a gray squirrel. And most people don't realize that we have them until they see them, and they're like, "What the heck?" But we got some populations of them. I know there's great fox squirrels around the country, but you all have any up there?
No. They I think they're an East Coast thing. But we've got, I mean, you want to talk about mammals? We've got all sorts of weird ones like ringtail cats. They're really neat, super
Ringtail
beautiful.
cats?
We've got, yeah, they're not really cats, they're mustelids, but and then then there's white-faced coyotes. You'd never see the ringtail cats because they're extremely nocturnal, but they're in very high population densities.
Really?
So once you're down into the desert, everything revolves around the water source. So these seasonal rivers have, much more vegetation than the rest of the land. So the animals tend to concentrate in those locations. So if you were to go out with a spotlight into one of these canyons, you would probably see many, many ringtail cats living in that one single canyon.
I did not realize that was a thing. Are you talking about coatis?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you said?
Yeah, white-faced coatimundis, those are another ones.
Yeah.
Coatimundis,
that's what you call them?
Yeah. I don't know the spelling, but
yeah,
they're closely related to raccoons, but they're diurnal. That's the neat thing. So I've seen them running around, scampering around, doing their thing.
Yeah, we got we have them invasive here in Florida. I've seen a couple of them.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them.
Of course, it's Florida.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of them in parks around me growing up. There was like a small population in one of the parks we had. They have a huge range. They go all throughout South America too, so like they can survive in some pretty tropical environments. I didn't realize that they were that common though.
I'm trying to think. What are the neat mammals? We used to have brown bears, but they're gone. Just black bears.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
almost
we got
sorry.
no, I was just gonna say we got the sheep too, bighorn sheep. Um, those come into the rich people's yards usually because the rich people are the ones that live at higher elevations.
Ah, yeah,
Javelinas, classic javelinas.
ooh, javelinas, the collared peccary.
Not that related to pigs.
Yeah, that whole thing is fun to get into when you look at the lineages and everything. Just because something looks like something else doesn't mean it is that thing.
Yeah, and it's just so this particular corner of Arizona and New Mexico, it's just really it has it's the only part of America that has a truly Central American floristic province and also animals. So I'm very blessed to be here. The bird species, especially more so than anything else, are really insane because they can migrate south. So they're truly tropical species that live here. The classic holy grail tropical bird that everyone looks to go for is the elegant trogon.
Elegant trogon.
Yeah, Trogron. Very cool.
Trogron. Gotcha. Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a fancied pigeon.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they're one of these Central American birds that comes up here. Because there's the hike I went on last weekend right by the border in this particularly wet canyon. So the most important thing with the canyons down here is actually the orientation. So this canyon is facing northeast, so it's the most shaded from the sun.
Gotcha.
So that fact alone allows more water to seep into the rocks, and that allows more water to be present in the water table. And that building over thousands of years allows the streams and springs to be, there's sections of it that have running water year round. But
Wow.
it's only when there's lots of rain that the thing is actually continually full of water. But that area, it's called Ramsey Canyon. That has more hummingbird species than any other place in the continental United States. Puerto Rico probably breaks it, but there are 21 different species here.
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that about the geography either. And real quick, yes, there are wild pigs in Florida. I have shot them myself. That's crazy, though. For the hummingbirds. I've only seen a couple of hummingbirds ever.
Yeah, all along the East Coast, it's only one species, I think. It's just, it's interesting how they haven't speciated, probably because they're so strongly migratory, maybe, so their genes mix along the whole, eastern half of the U.S. Anyway, the neat thing about hummingbirds is that they all have different display dances that the males use to woo the females. And they all have, you could Google it, and they all have different patterns. And, they'll call while they're doing these different dance patterns to woo the female.
I didn't realize that that's how they did their courtship.
Yeah, I mean, they do make sounds, but it's they are a perching bird, related to all the other songbirds. But I think probably their vocal cords are so small, they can't really produce much interesting.
Yeah,
it's just like this. They sound like mice, to be honest, most of the time. But one species in particular here makes this really strange, metallic, insect-like buzzing noise during its mating dance. It's very cool.
Huh.
The Anna's hummingbird.
I'll have to look into that a little
Well,
bit.
actually, yeah. So Google Anna's hummingbird. They're beautiful. But the neat thing about them,
yeah,
we keep finding these examples. We talk about these doom and gloom stories, but we're also finding all of these examples of, inspiring animals expanding more than they ever had just because of humans.
Yeah.
So the Anna's hummingbird, when we first came to the West, was entirely restricted to Baja California. And then it was only through human landscaping and irrigation of their yards with all of these flowering bushes that people think are pretty the Anna's hummingbird was able to jump that gap of desert that was separating them from all of this potential habitat. And now they've spread. I mean, you can look at their range. Their range is crazy now compared to what it was, in like 1910.
That's really
They were
cool.
still in only Baja California.
That's pretty cool. Real quick, what Yaneman says about the royal turkeys. I didn't realize that this was like its own specific thing, because I've seen these, because people only, like, this is not a wild turkey. These are things that people have, like, for I don't know, like, they have them on farms. I've seen plenty of these. I just didn't realize it was like a specific thing. But yes, I've seen these before. All right, Anna's hummingbirds. Oh wow! Oh my goodness, those are pretty.
Yeah, and so the males, when they have that brilliant throat patch, and they know exactly where the focal point of that is. So when they're trying to impress a female, they're constantly in flight. They're constantly moving their head, so their neck is shining directly into the female's eyes to make the biggest display possible. And I even have a video of a male. The male is perched, and the female is flying back and forth, and you can see his head is going back and forth, with his neck shining like a spotlight of that hot pink directly at the female.
Really? Well, this is showing that they have a range all the way up into Canada and almost Alaska sometimes.
Yeah, so
I'm looking at.
they're strongly migratory.
Yeah, I'm looking at
that far north, obviously.
Oh, let's see. Historic range, 1940. They were from, at least in 1940, it shows Baja California to Northern California. That was 1940. That was before. And then now it shows the year to. Okay, no, this range is even larger. It's talking about the biological invasion. That's what they're calling it. They're all the way out to Mississippi and all the way up to Alaska. That's how large their range is now. And it shows that they got to those places, and like especially out in the middle of the desert, by like 2010. What?
Yeah, so the thing that allows them to go all the way into Vancouver Island in Canada, that the Pacific Ocean is such a moderating force for the temperatures there. If you go that far north on the East Coast, there's tons of snow. On Vancouver Island, the average annual minimum winter temperature, so the one coldest day of the year in winter you can expect, it's around like 15 degrees, 20 degrees. Spectacularly warm. They barely see snow, but except in the mountains. But because they have that cold ocean current, relatively cold in the summer, it's warm in the winter. But because it's cold in the summer, they don't see 70 degrees until May or June, maybe. So it's a very different habitat than the one we're used to on the East Coast.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, to finish my point on that, the low winter temperature is much more important than the summer high temperature in determining what plant species can survive there.
Yeah.
So I suspect going up that whole Pacific coast, there's a lot of these, if not tropical, these familiar plants to the hummingbirds that they can just go all the way up there. And the climate is relatively similar.
Yeah, you do have a point there. I understand what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense.
Obviously, they have to leave in the winter, just like all the other northern hummingbirds. If you look at the Rufous hummingbird, they go even further. They go way into Alaska.
I didn't realize
but they have,
that. I always thought of them as warm weather birds.
Yeah, if you give them a Google, the Rufous hummingbird in particular has a specific relationship with some plant in those northern climates that allows it to succeed there. But they're impressive little guys.
There we go. Okay. All right. Let's see. Rufous hummingbird. Some spots of Florida in the winter. Breeding in all the way up into Alaska. Okay. Wow. I didn't realize they had such a huge range like that for such a small bird.
I believe they're one of the smallest in North America too. The
I'll say,
rufous.
I know the smallest is the bee hummingbird in Cuba, but I mean, just the thing.
Well, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of once you get to Central America, there's hundreds of species. I have no idea on that stuff, you know. But
yeah, and they're all North
you know,
America. They're all American species. They're the other birds fill that niche in other parts of the world, and they look very
yeah,
similar.
they were actually. So in the fossil record, there were hummingbirds in the old world, I think until like 10 or 12 million years ago. Don't quote me on the exact date, but they were actually outcompeted. The bees had to adapt. So there was a new, family or clade of bees, the long-tongued bees, and they were able to take advantage of that niche that the hummingbirds had formerly had in Europe, Asia, and Africa.
I have read about that a little bit. What would you suggest for hummingbird flowers? Something best to give them fuel. That
Depends on where you live, but
Yeah.
I can literally email you a gigantic list of plant species for hummingbirds. Generally, with hummingbirds, this is just like a quick and dirty tips on knowing based on what a flower looks like, based on the likely pollinators it might have. Obviously, this changes on your climate a little bit, but flowers that go for a generalist pollinator strategy are generally the yellows and purples and sometimes whites, because those are the most visible in the widest range to as many potential pollinators as possible. And if you didn't know, insects can see further into the UV range than humans can.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times these flowers have they have patterns in the UV that help direct them to exactly where the pollen is. So like if you take a picture of a daisy, there's a bullseye in the UV spectrum. Now, conversely for hummingbirds, they see the reds better than the insects do. They see more like we do. So hummingbird pollinated flowers are almost always red colored, and they're tubular usually because, the hummingbirds have the long beaks to take advantage. Obviously, that's not a hard and fast rule. Hummingbirds like any kind of tubular flower generally, but depends on where you live. You can honestly plug it into ChatGPT, double check it's not invasive in your area, and proliferate as many flowers as you can, especially perennials. Plants are the foundation of the ecosystem, and we've seen time and time again. We keep talking about these stories. It's literally, if you plant the plants, they will come. There are all of these stories. It's like, we're in the middle of this one place. All we did was take this tiny area and plant the native plants that used to be here. And then all of a sudden it's like, we're seeing species we hadn't seen in 50 years. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I definitely need to put some native stuff down because I got a few families of birds. I was actually sitting out yesterday in my backyard, and I have a few bird feeders up and a hummingbird feeder. I've never seen them. Just I haven't looked too much into it, but I was looking around. I saw 2 family of tufted titmouse, a couple of families of cardinals, some black-headed chickadees.
Black-capped chick. Yep.
A couple of other things that were flying around. A red. A downy woodpecker, a red-breasted woodpecker, a couple other woodpeckers. I've seen pileated woodpeckers around here. There's just like, if you stop and look at the animals that are in your area, you'd be surprised by how many different species of birds just live right in your backyard. And if you do a couple little things to attract them in, I get this family of tufted titmouse that are constantly outside my window, and almost every morning I just get, I can't do it right now. My mouth's too dry, but I hear the whistling outside the door. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And anyone who's interested in this stuff, there's lots of resources now to help you. So there's an app that's free, released by Cornell, called Merlin, Merlin, and you can literally have your phone record a bird singing and it'll use AI to tell you what it is, and it's very accurate. It's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
Again, if you're
real quick,
sorry, what's that?
Real quick with what Three Hells Bells is saying. Do you believe in the urban myth that the Carolina parakeet is still alive? No, I don't. That is not one I've ever even heard about. I've never heard that urban myth before. But I do not believe that they're still alive. Not the Carolina parakeet.
There's no habitat.
Yeah, there's not only that, but no, I believe they're completely wiped out. Their food is there. They eat cockleberries, or cockleburrs, excuse me, not berries. But yeah, no.
There's no bamboo cane breaks anymore. Which, if anyone listening to the stream wants to buy large tracts of the southeastern United States and plant native bamboo, please do it. But we're not going to bring back the Carolina parakeet, even if you do.
I didn't know that about them. Put this out where they nested or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
For the benefit of the stream, throughout the southeastern United States, there was native bamboo. And, in all of the river plains that would flood periodically, where trees will drown, these were all filled with huge amounts of bamboo. And they were destroyed because that's the easy to farm land. It's a lot easier to cut down bamboo than it is to log a forest. And then, if you're settling there one year, you can just have your livestock. You can have your livestock eat nothing but bamboo one year while you're getting your house set up, and then you can get yourself situated. They've cleared the land for you, and you can plant your crops. So, unfortunately, that's what happened.
Let's see, North American bamboo. I wasn't sure what species were native and what aren't, because.
So this is very controversial. And actually, I forgot, but this will lead me back to the white-tailed deer management discussion. So, this is a perfect example of a niche that North America has lacked. So even if you plant the invasive bamboo, you're actually doing the habitat a service. Now, if you let it get out of control and you don't manage it properly, it could potentially be an issue, more so than native bamboo. So if you're not going to manage it, better to plant the native bamboo. But the point stands, you're creating an important native habitat that's missing.
Oh, I have seen this. Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay. I know what river cane is.
There used to be vast fields of it that was actual habitat instead of, growing 6 feet along a bank every now and then.
Is sugarcane a type of bamboo?
Sugarcane is in the grass family, so they're they're all grass. Yeah, bamboo's grass too. So sugarcane is actually really, really complicated. It's very interesting. It's a very, very complex hybrid of many different species of grasses that were probably natively hybridized to some extent and then rehybridized by humans. So it's a complete mess, but that is a remarkable plant in terms of what it can produce per acre.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Just like bamboo.
They're both part of the Poaceae family of grasses.
Poaceae, yeah.
Poaceae.
Nice. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, the cool thing about bamboo.
Thanks for stopping by, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. We always appreciate your questions and stuff. Before I get distracted again, the cool thing about bamboo is their reproduction is very similar to the way corals reproduce.
Oh, really? Just kind of shooting things into the air?
Well, yeah. So they no, even more similar than that. So they mostly spread in a patch just clonally by root suckers, right? And then periodically, depending on the species, they have these mass events, and they're called ricing events because they all create huge amounts of flowers, and they're a grass basically, so they produce a ton of seeds that look like rice.
Huh.
So you get and it's huge areas of these things. So it's like hundreds, many square miles at least, where all of these things flower in the same year. 60 year, the large species, it's once every 60 years, once every 80 years, 70 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same kind of strategy as coral or cicadas, where I believe it's the K strategist. I always get the two confused, but you produce so many seeds that nothing can have a large enough population to take advantage, because there are such large gaps between these events that they can't make some sort of population boom bust cycle or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, that ties into the really cool fact about chickens, domesticated chickens.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, the red
we have
jungle
lots
fowl.
of different. We have lots of different domesticated fowl, but chickens are unique in the fact that they can lay eggs at any time of the year. And the reason that's the case is because they developed in their native habitat in these bamboo forests with these ricing events.
Mm-hmm.
So it made sense for them genetically to have this ability to be, if you keep feeding a chicken, it'll just keep laying eggs.
Yeah.
All you have to do is keep feeding it enough food. And so that works out great for humans. We can give them tons of grain and they give us tons of eggs. But it's from these bamboo ricing events where there were, as much grain as you can eat for 1 year, and then you got to wait another 60.
Yeah, and they just kept on doing it and doing it and doing it until, breeding the ones that produce the most. And because the red jungle fowl look very similar to just a regular chicken. Like they look very similar.
No, it's super cool. And they're everywhere in Hawaii.
Really?
The Polynesians brought them. It wasn't just a cute thing they did for Disney. The Polynesians would actually tie the feet of chickens together and throw them in the bottom of their canoes. And then when they would go to a new island, they would let the jungle fowl go.
I didn't realize that.
And particularly on the island of Kauai, if I'm going to be an ass about it, that island didn't have the introduction of the mongoose. So there in particular, the island is littered with chickens. Driving on the road, you pass them constantly dead on the side of the road. In the parks where people go, there's masses of chickens running around and roosters chasing each other. You hear it, every morning you wake up to roosters crowing no matter what.
I forgot about the mongoose thing. They were introduced everywhere and wreaked havoc.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible, and there's so many incredible ground nesting birds that were completely wiped out. But that does make Kauai so special that they were never introduced there. And, as you can imagine, it's just insane.
Absolutely.
Well, and again, in the same vein, the introduction of those chickens probably extincted a bunch of ground nesting birds that couldn't outcompete them.
Yeah.
And we don't even know about them.
Hawaii is definitely one of the epicenters for that kind of thing. But unfortunately, well, I am going to head to bed. I got to wake up early tomorrow. A lot of fun once again. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Thank you again, Saget Master. I love when you come in and talk nerdy to me. It's fantastic.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'll do it anytime. Thank you for having me, chat. Hopefully I didn't bother you guys too much.
Oh, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? You're great. You definitely, you give me a lot to think about. You make me look dumb, which I like. It's all good, man.
All right. Thanks for the stream, guys. Peace out.
All right. See you. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate everyone who has been here. And again, I'm just going to keep on doing these. I have fun doing them. I just got to get onto a better schedule. I'm an old man. I feel like it. I get tired at 10 o'clock. I'm in bed early. I wake up early. I got to figure out a way to really have everything work out. If I could do it during the day too, I will do that here pretty soon. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will have stream clips out tomorrow. I don't know exactly when. Hopefully by like 11 or so, I'll have all the stream clips out. So if you guys did like some of the stuff that we talked about and you want to go back over it, or you miss it another time, whatever, I'm going to continue to do that. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.